So you're at Stillwater, and when do you think, you know what, I go to a game and I want to be Pistol Pete?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't even at a game.
Okay.
So my sophomore year, I was serving as state FFA president at the time, and every year at state convention here in Oklahoma City, the state president gives a retiring address. And it's always a competition kind of with the former state presidents on who can have the best entrance to their retiring address.
Okay.
So there's been years when a state president has come in on a horse or on a tractor or whatever, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something totally out of left field, and I'm gonna come in with Pistol Pete, and he's gonna shoot the shotgun off, do the OSU chant, and I'm gonna tell the story of Frank Eaton, who Pistol Pete's based off of, and relate it to how telling your story can impact other people, which at the time I thought this was a guy that wasn't in college. It was someone that OSU had just put on contract, and he was just doing it. But I found out and met the guy that was Pistol Pete at the time, and realized he was a college student just like me. So I was like, hey, like, why not try this and see what it's about, you know?
Yeah. So how did that entrance go?
I had a lot of people tell me that they peed their pants. So, I mean, you're inside the Cox Convention Center. It's not out in the open like Boone Pickens is.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of the last sessions of the day for state convention.
Yeah.
You've got FFA members that are super exhausted, been busy all day, and some of them are sleeping in their chairs, and to hear a shotgun go off inside
echo through the Cox Convention Center.
I had a lot of people tell me they peed their pants.
Do we have it on video?
There was a YouTube video of the whole retiring address a couple of years ago, and I looked for it not too long ago, and I think it got taken down or something. I don't know what happened.
We'll have to find that somewhere.
Got to find it in the archives. Yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah. So from that moment, you meet the current Pistol Pete, and he's like, hey, like, I'm retiring soon, like, I need to hand. How does that process go? You don't just say, hey, I want the job. Like, I'm sure there's like there has to be an audition for it, surely.
Yeah, there is every year. So there's 2 Pistol Petes that serve as Pete for OSU each year. Typically the way it works is one of them is older than the other, so they normally do it for 2 years. So one's going out, one's coming in.
Gotcha.
At the time, Landon was his name, he's from Holdenville, was going out, and I had started going to events with him and just saw what Pete was like outside of the football games and the basketball games and things like that. And I really started going to, children's hospitals with him and seeing that kind of side of it and how special those like one-on-one interactions are. So process is pretty intimidating. Guys that used to be Pistol Pete 25, 30 years ago were the judges, and you sit down in front of them and, run through, what makes you want to try out for Pete. They put the head on you and see if you've got the walk and that kind of thing.
The swagger and all the rest of it.
The certain swagger that Frank Eaton had when he was, the actual living mascot for the university. And they picked the guys that night, and they start doing events 2-3 days later.
Yeah. Throw you right in the deep end.
Right in the lion's den. It's like the head's so tall. I remember my first appearance walking through my first doorway. You have to kind of squat with the head on. And I remember hitting the top of that doorway and about falling back on my back. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Yeah.
Were you kind of, because it takes a certain type of person to have the ability to do that, right? Like, were you kind of really naturally outgoing that wanted to do that, or was it easier to kind of put the head on and not have not people see you, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, the Batman mask or whatever, but like people don't know it's you, do they? I assume.
Well, so a lot of colleges, that's definitely the case. You go to schools like Auburn, and if anyone finds out who Obby is, they have their scholarship taken away. So it's a lot more secretive in schools like that, where with Pistol Pete, you've got a 45-pound head in a bag, and you're walking with these bright orange boots on, and it's kind of like put 2 and 2 together. And so it's not as secretive at OSU specifically, but It took me 3 years to get Pistol Pete, and I tried out 3 times.
Really?
So I had sat in front of those judges a lot.
Yeah.
And at the time, I look back and I think that the timing, it was, it happened for that reason. And I continued to go to events with the guys that were getting Pete, and just kind of seeing that, and just I just was really passionate about that and serving the school in that way specifically.